Well, thank you very much for coming. I do appreciate it. This is the first lecture I've given since COVID. And the last lecture I gave was in January 2020, just before COVID broke out. And all my lectures are normally overseas, and of course I couldn't fly. And so anyway, this is my first lecture. I have got an hour to cover 40 years of research. So wish me luck. What I'm doing is I'm covering the basics of reverse speech, what it is, some of its applications, and also its applications in hypnosis. Okay, so let us begin, shall we? So there we go. Okay, so as it says there, if human speech is recorded and played backwards, extra intelligible messages can be heard amongst the gibberish. I started researching this 40 years ago. I began with rock and roll. You've probably all heard about satanic messages in rock and roll, and started playing rock and roll records backwards, and then stumbled across it in human speech, and here we go. So let me give you some basic examples. This is an Australian Aboriginal, part of the Stolen Generation, talking about how he found his family. So you ready? Here we go.
And I was about 30, 35, and I found out that my father was alive.
How did you find out?
It was just through word of mouth, talking to different ones. The same with...
But I mean, what something was said to you, was it?
Yeah, well, I just talked to different ones about it because I was sort of trying to trace one of my sisters.
So you found out that you had sisters and brothers?
Yeah, I knew all along I had one sister.
Do you notice all the pauses and stutters in his speech? Those pauses and stutters and tonal alterations are in speech to create backward messages. So what we're going to do, I'm going to play a small section of it backwards. Tell me what you hear.
I am an older sister. I am an older sister. I am an older sister.
I have an older sister. Exactly right. Okay, so let's play it again. Play.
I am an older sister. I am an older sister.
And what did he talk about forwards? Do you remember? How he found out he had a whole bunch of brothers and sisters. So this is the first principle of reverse speech, is it's complementary. The forwards and the reverse are directly related to each other. That was one of the very first things that convinced me of its genuineness, was this complementary nature. Now, I'm going to run the whole lot backwards and see if you can hear that phrase, I have an older sister, amongst the gibberish. So here we go.
I am an older sister. So I was over there, you know.
Did you hear how that jumped up out of the gibberish there? That's exactly how reversals are occurring. I call them reversals. Once every 20 or 30 seconds of speech, you hear this very clear phrase amongst the gibberish. It's quite clear and quite apparent. There's what we are thinking and feeling on a conscious as well as an unconscious level. Okay, let's give another example. This is a casual conversation.
This is just one of many, many lifetimes where we are here to develop the soul, basically. And when that is achieved, the soul will ascend.
Okay, so we're going to play this backwards. One section, tell me what you can hear.
I love you today.
I love you today.
You hear that one?
I love you
today. And let's play it again. I'm going to run the whole lot. I'll play it again. Play.
I love you today.
I love you today. I love you today.
Now let's play the whole lot backwards. Play.
الناس الواسط فيش تسيعنا ما يلقي أبواس I love you today.
You hear that amongst the gibberish? You know, one of the things that amazed me was when I first discovered this was how come this hasn't been discovered before? It's so obvious and so apparent. You take any section of speech and run it backwards. Every 20, 30 seconds, you'll hear these very clear phrases amongst the gibberish. So backward messages like this occur once every 20, 30 seconds of normal conversation. I propose it is a natural part of language. It is a previously undiscovered human sense. Our real self, our spirit and our heart is constantly speaking in reverse. I call the phenomenon reverse speech. I actually woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning in April of 1987 with the name reverse speech. And I went and wrote wrote out my theory of reverse speech complementarity. The theory states that language is bi-level, forwards as well as backwards. As the human brain is constructing the sounds of speech, it is constructing them in such a way that two messages are communicated, one forwards and one backwards, a natural part of conversation. What is communicated in reverse is from the totality of the human mind. You'll get conscious thoughts. They comprise roughly 10 or 20% of reversals, will be what you're actually thinking and feeling on a conscious level. Subconscious thoughts, I distinguish between the subconscious and the unconscious mind. I won't go into why, it'll take me an hour to explain it. Subconscious thoughts are hidden memories, forgotten experiences, warnings of physical disease. Very common in reverse speech to hear a warning of a physical disease that someone has. The unconscious mind speaks in metaphor and archetype, and that comprises roughly about 60 to 70% of all reversals speak in metaphorical and archetypal language, and that is how the unconscious mind thinks and communicates. Took me probably 20 or 30 years to work out all the metaphors of reverse speech, a long, long time. So I've literally spent the last 40 years of my life 6-7 days a week running tapes in reverse. The collective unconscious mind communicates. We can tap into universal knowledge, warnings about the future, collective unconscious knowledge. And most importantly, the voice of the spirit can be heard in reverse speech. Reverse speech talks a lot about the soul. It's one of the most common themes in reverse speech, the state of our soul, who we are, why we are here, our spiritual purpose. It's a very, very common theme. If you're looking for that sort of purpose and want to know what it is, reverse speech will tell you. It is, in fact, the voice of the heart, who we really are, our real self on all levels, conscious, unconscious, and spirit. Okay, let's have a look at some conscious thoughts of Johnny Depp in his defamation trial. So where's the...
You said before that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours, haven't you?
Could you repeat that?
And you've also said that with
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours.
That's ludicrous.
You're bloody crazy. That's what he's thinking. Thinking, what? You mean that she's rightfully mine? No, you're bloody crazy. That's his conscious thoughts. And here he is again. Don't know where that...
It was essentially just self-medication. One of those get me out of here moments. And, you know, where you want to escape from is your own brain, your own head.
And here it is backward. You hear that? You're lying big. Yeah, speak saying.
That's him saying he's lying big.
Or he could be talking about Amber. It's hard to tell. He's actually talking about Amber because I've seen the other reversals. So, okay, so moving on. Okay, listen. Listen to Joe stammer in his forward speech. This is a common place to find reversals.
There's been no indication that's the case at all with regard to, there's a total of lost.
Backwards, have I lost it? You hear that there? I got some classic reversals on Biden. He's so funny in reverse. He's the guy's lost his mind. He really has. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's true. Okay, we played Have I Lost It, right? Play it again.
There's been no indication that's the case at all with regard to, there's a total of lost.
Absolutely. So you listen to someone talk next time and just listen to their speech. It's full of pauses and stutters and stammers and tone alterations and word changes, and we don't even think about it. That's speech, that's how we talk. But all those inconsistencies of speech are there to create reverse speech. Reverse speech is formed by the sounds of our speech. So two people can say exactly the same sentence and you'll get completely different reversals because it's different voice patterns, different tonalities. It's all to do with the precise way the speech is captured at the time. When videos are played backwards, you get incredible connection between body language signals. You'll see, arms crossed or flying or scratching the nose. Backward lips movement, mouth out the reversals. A lip reader can read the backward lips. We've actually done that. So have a look at this one. This is Prince Andrew talking about Jeffrey Epstein. You know who Jeffrey Epstein is. And the infamous photo. Jeffrey Epstein allegedly committed suicide. This reverse will make you think differently. Okay, so here we go. Let's play it forwards.
Nobody can prove whether or not that photograph has been doctored, but I don't recollect that photograph ever being taken.
Those lips don't match very well. I'm sorry about that. The video and the audio is not syncing properly. So, okay, you all heard that reversal, right? Jeffrey Epstein had to get murdered with allegedly suicide. This reversal, plus other reversals I got on Prince Andrew, shows that he was involved in the ordering of the death of Jeffrey Epstein. So, yeah. Very scary stuff. Hey? Sorry? Yeah. You can get very embarrassing secrets come up in reverse speech sometimes. You really can. All those hidden thoughts that you don't want anyone to hear. Okay, here's a client.
People do it like,
embarrassed if I found this reverse.
Like they have like 5 days of it, one after the other.
Oh,
The
wow.
retreat.
Gee whiz.
Usually,
Wow.
I'll pay the Arnold. Usually,
Wow.
I'll pay the Arnold.
You hear that one?
I'll pay the Arnold.
I found. Look, I've been doing. I've been in private practice for 35 years now. I found so many secrets in reverse: drug habits and affairs and thefts, and it's really quite stunning. Okay, reversals also come from the subconscious mind. In these examples, reversals can reveal causes for disease, instructions for cure, as well as forgotten, hidden memories. You've all heard about how you can have dreams sometimes and dream about you're sick. I mean, like I had a series of dreams about my teeth were falling out a while back and I had to get some of them extracted. But reverse speech actually gives us precise English words that tells us what is wrong with someone. For example, here's a client who's looking to solve money problems. Play.
She and I need to work this issue out, but it started to bring up all my money fears and stuff. And the thing is if I know I start sourcing fear again, I'm gonna go way downhill.
Want to do that.
Look at my grief. Look at my grief. Look at my grief.
You want to hear that? So this is her telling me my money problems have been caused by grief. And as we talked to her, it was grief in childhood with abuse from father. And to find that information using normal therapy could take weeks, months, if ever. But this is just one tape, points to the money issues as being grief. And this is telling me what I have to do in my therapy work with her is to work on her grief. And reverse speech takes all the guesswork out of therapy. It will tell us what's wrong and will tell us how to fix it, which I think is just stunning stuff. Okay, here's another one. Let's play this forwards now.
He's locked it in there. I have a stuffed towel under the door to keep the mold smell from coming out.
Okay, this was a woman who had. Okay, this is a woman who had bad asthma, and she's talking about her asthma, and we hear this reversal here under the floor, pus in my head.
He's left it in there, and I have the stuffed towels under the door to keep the mold smells from coming out.
You want to hear that? So we went and checked under floorboards of the house, and she had 18 inches of mold growing under the house. Husband cleared out the mold. Guess what happened to this woman's asthma? It virtually vanished. So reverse speech was able to point to a problem that she had no conscious knowledge of about what is causing her asthma. Okay, you know what? This example, almost to conclude, I actually had secondary thoughts about it when on my drive here, but anyway, this is how I discovered a woman had been abused by her father. The reason why I had second thoughts about it was it brings up the whole concept of implanted memories, and but anyway, I'll play it anyway.
You're trying to tell it's going its own way. It hasn't got the message that you don't need it to keep doing this.
Oh, I see.
So not very nice at all. I'm working with a couple of clients now who have been abused, and reversals will tell you what happened, how it happened, when, why, and also what to do to fix it. So, okay, next one.
It's going its own way.
Okay, now we've tried this one. This is a man who had temper issues. Here's the forwards.
Build that up, but it's double tough because I'm traveling abroad. I've chosen to live outside America. Anyway, I'm still relying on him to help me.
That points to his father as being the reason for his temper issues. Okay, so here we go. All right, reverse speech can, in one 30-minute session, reveal reasons for behavioural problems, suggest ways to work with the issues, reveal hidden memory, predict future outcomes, stunningly accurate future outcome prediction. I think I've got some examples in this presentation, and provide a feedback for how effective the therapy is. When I work with my clients, I'll do my sessions, I'll do my hypnosis, then I do a follow-up tape with what's changed. How has this helped you? And reversals will tell me whether I've got to do more work or whether we've solved the problem. Okay, the big advantage. It's not the analyst diagnosing the problem or working out how to fix it. It is the client's own unconscious mind that gives the solutions. The reversal reveals it all. It takes therapeutic bias out of the equation because it's the client telling you. It's not you. Okay? All right. Okay, here's the future tense reversal. This is a salesman who's predicting a bad outcome for a future sale. So play.
And developing relationships with customers and prospects is not uncomfortable for me, but that would be a roll forth knocking up. That would be a roll forth knocking up. That would be a roll forth.
Quite clear, I'm sure you'd agree. He messed up his client's orders a month later and got fired. So there you go. So that's what happened there. Future tense prediction, very accurate. Boy, if I've got time, I won't have time. I can talk about what's going to happen in Israel if you want to know, but we'll get onto that later. Okay, here's reverse speech gives us a solution to a client who has depression. So let's run it forwards.
I started doing something about my life, about the situations that I found myself in.
Very plain, very obvious. Woman went and took all the curtains down from the house, cut down trees around the window, and depression started to disappear. As simple as that, needing more sunlight. So, okay. Oops. All right, let's move on to the most important part of reverse speech, and that is metaphors. When I'm working with clients, 70 to 80% of all the reversals I find will be in metaphors, using words like wolf, Lancelot, goddess, Garden of Eden, Camelot, and you get a whole array of metaphors. I've written a metaphor dictionary. It's available on my stand out there. So let's play a typical metaphor.
You strike me as a very enthusiastic guy. I mean, certainly the time we've been together and you've got all full of ideas. Is this latest? Is this just a latest idea? Is it just all froth and barble, or do you really want to get out? And do you really
I really want to get.
See, all for lagrinyadik.
See, all for lagrinyadik. See, all for lagrinyadik.
Okay, so what does that mean? Well, very simply, wolf is a very common metaphor in reverse speech. It occurs practically every tape I do. It's our motivation, our drive, our strength to move ourselves forward. This is a guy who just suffered from a nervous breakdown. Lake is a water metaphor, refers to emotions. So when he says, see the wolf fall in the lake, he's drowning in a sea of his own emotions and can't pull himself out of it. So how do we fix this? Guess what? It's really, really easy. You actually put him in a light hypnotic trance, have him visualize the wolf. And one of the first things you'll notice when you do reverse speech is that the clients will always visualize visualize the metaphors the way the reversals describe them. So this guy will literally see a wolf drowning in the lake. So what I will do is I will get him to reach in and help the wolf out of the lake. And what I'm doing is I'm changing the picture, which changes the metaphor, which changes the behavior. And that's how I work. I work solely through metaphor. Behavior and personality is all formed by a metaphoric matrix inside of us. The way to change it, I was going to say something, get into trouble if I say that. The way to change it is to work with metaphors. Metaphors are the key. Subliminal programming doesn't touch the deep unconscious mind. It just doesn't get down there. It's as simple as that. Okay, here's another reversal, speaking in metaphor. Here we go.
I like to think that everyone's happy and, loving life.
Yeah, right, okay.
Reverse speech talks a lot about money transfers. It's about exchange of emotions. We are constantly talking to each other, exchanging emotional energy all the time. And it talks about it in terms of money. I mean, you're coming here, you're buying something off of me, okay, because I've got something to tell. And so there is a financial transaction or an emotional transaction taking place in the deep unconscious. A whole lot of reversals about money. Okay. All right, move on. Okay, frequently instructions for how to fix the client's problem will come in metaphor. Now, this example is from a salesman who was trying to improve his selling, and he's talking about putting a new pamphlet out. So here we go, play.
I guess there's those two things. I don't know how much information yet to put in the pamphlet, and whether to have some information pack to send to them. There's two ways I could go. It depends what this looks like, whether that's sufficient or whether there's too much for that.
Whirlwind, once again, very common metaphor in reverse speech. Reverse speech talks a lot about the whirlwind. It's an energy field that surrounds the physical body. It's separate from the aura. And the whole world has our own universal whirlwind. I won't even get into it. I could spend a day lecturing on the whirlwind alone. So this is telling me to have him see the whirlwind to change this pattern. So I'll literally have him see a devil, and then a whirlwind will come along and take the devil away. As simple as that. Metaphors are amazing. They're just simply amazing. I get just stunning results with my clients, and lifelong issues gone in one round of session work. It's amazing. Okay, here's another one of an instruction.
I was just visualizing the whirlwind, visualizing the wolf like we used to do because we've done it before.
Absolutely.
And it just started bringing that power and that life force. And yesterday I was feeling absolutely fantastic. I just be yourself always. I was giving it a whirlwind. Be yourself always. I was giving it a whirlwind.
Love, very common metaphor in reverse speech. It's the energy that keeps us alive and functioning. Love, so important. I work a lot with that in my sessions work. Okay, how are we going for time? Okay. All right, the previous two reversals are examples of what I call trance instructions. They detail specific steps that the unconscious provides to work with an issue. They are metaphors. The unconscious operates with metaphors, and this is how it can be changed. By talking to the unconscious mind in metaphors, you are talking to it in its own language, because it understands metaphors. That's how it thinks. That's how it functions. That's why we dream. That's why we daydream. It's pictures and images, and that's how it all works. Okay, I have developed a hypnotic technique that I call metaphor restructuring. It uses the client's own metaphors to both recognize and alter unconscious metaphoric structures. The technique goes like this. First of all, I do a 30-minute recording discussing the client's issues. I then go away and analyze the tape. Now, that's no mean task. It's very difficult. It looks easy, but it's not. It takes me 3 or 4 hours to analyze a 30-minute recording. Yeah, a lot of skill involved in doing that. I then do a follow-up session where I play the clients their reversals. Playing the reversals is very important because change begins just from hearing your own reversals. You're creating connection between the conscious and the deep unconscious. So change begins from that point onwards. So I play the client's reversal and tell them what it all means, and I'll get a very detailed look as to who they are. I then do a second 30-minute recording looking for solutions from the unconscious. So I'll say, okay, in this first recording, we had a reversal said, I have a devil in my soul. How do we fix that? How do we take the devil out of the soul? And reversal will come back and tell me what to do. See, you realize we know ourselves very well. The collective unconscious and the unconscious knows us a lot better than our conscious mind does. It knows what we need, it knows what our problems are, and it knows how to fix them. So then I analyze the second recording privately and prepare a transcript. Using reversal of the 2 recordings, I map out and write what I call a meta walk. Meta walk is a combination of 2 words, metaphor and walkabout. So it's a spiritual journey through the metaphors of the unconscious mind. They last about 15 minutes. They're pictorial journeys. You can go into a desert and fight dragons, or maybe we'll go into Camelot and see Arthur on the throne, or banish the witch, or every journey is different. And they're all marvelous metaphoric journeys through the unconscious. Okay. I deliver 2 meta walks in 2 separate sessions, a week apart. I then do a third recording to discover what changes have taken place. Analyze recording privately, prepare a transcript. Follow-up session to play the clients a reversal from the third recording. That'll tell me what changes have taken place, what hasn't taken place, what I've missed, what I've forgotten. It's all there. And then I do a final meta walk using reversals from the third recording. So that is 8-step process, 1 session a week. Okay. And if you want your whole life changed, this will do it. I guarantee it. Okay. Oh, there we go. What is a meta walk? It's a pictorial journey through the unconscious mind using a person's own metaphors as a guide. It is a combination of 2 words, metaphor and walkabout. Thus, it is a spiritual pilgrimage through the deserts of the unconscious. And I got the term meta walk, when did I get there? About 25 years ago, I think. I was trying to think what to call it, because it wasn't really a trance or a hypnosis session. It's different, and I was trying to think of a unique word, and I came up with that word finally. No. Okay, here's an example from the third recording following the 2 meta walks. And this is where the reversals will tell me what's changed. So play.
With the feedback from the reversals that I've done with it, it's for me, it's not hard anymore. It's really lovely.
Can you all see how clear all these reversals are? I'm not stretching here. I'm not trying to put sound together. Okay, these are really clear phrases. I have mentor students I train full time. They work under me full time. I've got 3 of them, and we'll do tapes together or recordings together. I still use tapes. I'm back 40 years ago. We'll analyze recordings together, and it's very common for all of us to hear the same reversal at the same time. If this was just imagination or projection, we couldn't hear the same stuff at the same time, So, well, that's, look, there's 2 main criticisms about reverse speech. One is pareidolia. That was the first criticism that was thrown on me when I went public back in '87. We're only hearing this because you're telling us to hear it, okay? Well, as you see, when I do lectures, I often play reversal without telling clients what they are. So I played the first two without telling you to remove that auto suggestion. The other ones I've given you subtitles on because I don't have time to teach you how to do it. I'm just running them through. So that's pareidolia. The other, that one went out the window fairly quickly, and now the skeptics say it's coincidence. Well, I can't see how you can get intelligent, grammatically correct sentences every 30 seconds of conversation that relate directly to the forward dialogue and call it coincidence. I mean, gee whiz, you can put a monkey in a room of peanuts and they'll make a computer. That's the absurdity of that one. Okay, here's a client talking about a new approach in his business following the meta walks.
And they were interested in the theory. So I spent about a month or so preparing it for them so that they could understand it. And it was the MS Society of Southland, which is in New Zealand. And so I'm really happy with that. Healing Atlas. Healing Atlas. Healing Atlas.
You'll hear that? So that tells me once again the process is working. Okay. All right. Reversals can also come from the collective unconscious. This is an example I found on an Australian client who'd never been to America 3 months before 911. And it's from a private session. So here's the forwards.
That I said that, I will be an opener of souls, and I had the most credible feeling of my heart chakra just bursting wide open.
So I found that my client's tape, and I said, "Have you ever been to America?" He said, "No." "Do you not like America?" He said, "I got no thoughts either way." So I just kept it. I kept the reversal, and then 3 months later, the plane flew into the Twin Towers. So I think we were tapping into a collective unconscious knowledge of what was about to happen. All right, this is an example on me, and it really I played this at my lectures because it really hit home to me the reality of future tense reversals. This is me on a radio show in England, so we'll run it forwards.
It's the most powerful way because you can hear it in straightforward everyday English. But yeah, we are hardwired to tell the truth.
Oops, you stopped. Doesn't matter. You all heard it. Okay, so I found that reversal on me. And I go, what the dickens does that mean? I had no idea. Anyway, 2 weeks later, I'm in America, and I'm flying to see a mate of mine in a regional airport in Portland. And the plane gets down to the airport, it circles the airport, it can't land because the airport's snowed in. So it flies back to Portland, and I then go and hire a car and drive there instead. Anyway, I'm about half an hour into the drive, and it started snowing and snowing. And before too long, I had a raging blizzard, and I was down to 5 miles an hour driving through this blizzard in freezing temperature, and that reversal came dramatically true 2 weeks later. So that was in my reversals 2 weeks before it actually happened. So fascinating. Okay, let's look at spirit. Trying to think how many percentage reversal will be from spirit. I don't know, 10 or 20%. Very common. Here is a classic. I love this example. I'll just play it forward.
Does it further for us to put more energy and money and effort? You're fighting, lean on me. You're fighting, lean on me. You're fighting, lean on me.
Okay, I forgot to give the intro to this one. This is a man who had financial problems, and he's talking about how does he fix it. And the spirit comes back and says, "Hey, I know you're frightened. Just lean on me. Just trust in me." Voice of his spirit talking to him. Amazing stuff. Okay, here's another example detailing the state of the soul. I don't know what this one is. Oh, okay. Don't play this yet. This one is on me. This is boy, how can I explain this? Okay, I lived in America for 10 years, and I did all the TV talk shows and radio shows, and I was huge in the United States. I upset a lot of people because I found some secrets on people that didn't want to be published, and Anyway, to cut a long story short, my house was burnt to the ground. I was sued about 3 times. I had lynch mobs outside my house. My kids were beaten up at school because they were my kids. There was a big public lawsuit, and I lost it. So I packed up my kids and I moved back to Australia after living in America for 10 years. Then, sorry? Thank you. I've been back for 20 years now. But unfortunately, not long after I got back, my son was murdered, and I was in a real mess, to say the least. We won't get into the murder; that's another story altogether. He was following my footsteps. He was doing lectures on reverse speech and radio shows, and anyway, it's a long story. So I was in a real bad way, and when I play this reversal, you will hear the agony in the reverse.
Could be. Yeah, could be. Well, see, I'm very sensitive to energy, ultra sensitive to energy. My soul gift with pain. My soul gift with pain. My soul gift with pain.
This taught me a lot about reverse speech, this one reversal. I'm saying to myself, why is my soul giving me pain? My soul shouldn't be giving me pain. It should be healing me and helping me. Well, what I've learned about reverse speech and the soul is a mirror. It reflects back to us what we give to it. That is why people have repetitive behavioral patterns all their life. They can't change it. We create and manifest from the level of the soul. If we live a life of depression, that's what we feed the soul. And the soul decides, oh, that's what he wants, so I'll go out and create the world to bring him more depression. I see this every week. I work with my clients. The soul creates. The soul is the active force of creation and manifestation. I was in a real mess, and as from that reversal, I went and put myself into session work immediately with one of my analysts and worked on it and fixed it all up. So, okay. You may have noticed, by the way, I have a slight speech stutter. It used to be very, very bad in my early years, and suddenly I was thrown on the public stage giving lectures and radio shows, and I had this shocking speech stutter, and I had to learn to overcome it. It was pure willpower that got me past it. All right, here is an analyst reassuring his client. Play.
We'll likely get reversals that are pretty clearly from your unconscious mind, your subconscious. Soul serving hello.
Soul serving hello. Soul serving hello.
Now that's an analyst you want to do session work with, okay? Because his heart's in the right place. You're who you are, and you're what reversals you put off, your client hears. And your client is affected by your unconscious mind more than your conscious mind. And if you've got stuff that you haven't resolved, your clients are going to get it, and they're going to get it in your reversals. I had a client. Oh, this was about 30 years ago now. Married couple going for session. I'm trying to think how it actually happened with a psychologist. Anyway, the psychologist was gay, and after the session work, the husband turned gay and went after men. And I think it was the psychologist's reversals that did that. Another story. Got so many stories. All right, many reversals discuss spiritual matters and matters of the soul. In fact, reverse speech itself tells us that it is coming from the deepest regions of consciousness. Listen to this reversal tell us what is speaking backwards.
Sometimes people ask me, does reverse speech endorse any particular religion? And the answer to that is no. There are no deities or religions that reverse speech endorses or says this is right or this is wrong. It just talks about the soul and the endlessness of life. And that in itself is very powerful.
Indeed.
This is the bliss in heaven.
This is the bliss in heaven.
Reverse speech tells us that the kingdom of heaven resides within, not without. And it is the voice of heaven, our deepest spiritual self, that is speaking in reverse. This is an incredibly amazing discovery. It opens up the human mind in a way that's never been opened before. I'm amazed, quite frankly, and frustrated that there's only about less than half a dozen practitioners in the world doing it. And with such an important technology as this, I'm staggered that I can't get more people involved in taking it up. It literally unlocks the secrets of the soul. And you'll read some of the secrets in my books. I've got my books out there. I've got 15 books here. I'm actually currently writing book 21 right now, so I'm a prolific author. All about reverse speech. Okay, reverse speech can assist the hypnotherapist in many ways. One, it will reveal audible communication from the unconscious. Two, it will detail precise reasons for current dysfunctional patterns. Three, it provides a feedback loop to monitor the therapeutic process. And four, it offers a brand new hypnotic technique to work with the deep unconscious. No one is doing what I do. No one is working at the level that I work at. I'm totally convinced of that. Oh, I found this reversal a month ago. I was so pleased when I heard this. I don't think I've ever heard the word reverse speech in reverse. So here it is.
Sylvain, about, according to David, you're supposed to be one of the big guys in reverse speech in the future, which would be great. And then the reversal said, found the Steve server. And he thinks that Sylvain's going to be the one that helps me find my higher self. I really don't know. Reverse speech in life, that's also reverse speech in life, that's also reverse speech in life, that's also.
And it really will serve. It will do it. I was really excited when I found that reverse. Like, oh wow, reverse speech in reverse. So, and that is the implications of reverse speech. It will serve us. It will help us. It will tell us what is wrong, tell us how to fix it. It will tap into the truth in a way we've never tapped into before. Do you want to know what's going on behind all the politicians and what they're really thinking and feeling and planning? Do you know what's coming up in the future? Well, we won't talk about that yet. How are we going? Oh, that's the end. Oh, how much more time do I have? 15 minutes. Oh, I don't have my laptop here. I could play you more reversals. Okay, questions. Let's have some questions. Yes. Yeah, good question. The question was, have you ever played with different languages? Very minimally. I only speak English. I've trained practitioners in bilingual in French, Spanish, and German, and we have found reversals in those languages. We've also found reversals that are one sentence will start off with one language and it'll end with another language. It'll split between the sentence. So, but I've done very little work on that, only speaking English. So, yeah, yes. Yes. Yeah.
What would that be? Could that be like that universal conscious coming through the airwaves, or is it, like, what are they picking up? Because it's so weird.
Yeah, the question was about EVP. For those who don't know, EVP is electronic voice phenomena. It's those voices that suddenly that will appear on tape. People leave a tape recorder running in a cemetery or a haunted house, and they'll come back with voices on it. I've listened to EVP. They're real. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know where they're coming from. Yeah. They sound similar to reverse speech. Genuine EVPs have you noticed how the reversal have a sort of melodic sing-song tone to it? Genuine EVPs have that same sort of tone, and I noticed that when I first started looking at it. Just get me out. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I got quite a few examples of EVPs on my computer, but it's not something that I personally research. I'll leave that up to someone else. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, what programs or apps can you use to play things backwards?
Okay, question was, what programs or apps are used to play things backwards? We have our own software that we've developed ourselves. You can get it from our website, reversespeech.com. There's lots of apps out there that'll play recordings backwards. Just search in App Store, and you'll find apps. There's dozens of them out there that run backwards. Yeah. Our own software though is totally designed for reverse speech, for the documentation of it. Yes.
I was just going to ask, does the RISE system do a reverse? Yes, we haven't spoken to David about that. So. Oh no, that's all right.
What's this? What?
Oh, there's a recording platform that the mentoring group has.
Oh, okay.
As an alternative.
Yeah, okay, no, I haven't been asked that question. Yes, sir.
Playing back at speed.
Yes.
The first of those, the normal speed.
Yeah, I played at 3 speeds. The reason why I do that is reversals generally are faster than forward speech. The syllable count will nearly always increase backwards. Like if you've got 5 syllable forwards, you may have 7 or 8 in reverse. And that's because it's the subtle sounds, like I said, sounds. And here that's actually 3 different tones, sounds. And so all those extra sounds create extra syllables backwards. So the reversals run about 10 or 15% faster than normal speech. That's why I slow them down. And also makes it easier to hear. I listen when I'm doing reversals myself. I listen about 85% of normal speed. It's just easier. So, yeah. Monday.
Sorry, Monday.
Yes, in my day, yes, sir.
So based on the skill set and being able to pick up the subtle phrases, can you as a practitioner kind of insert reverse solutions for the client? So you change your own words to spin, the solution is like, can you reverse that into there?
I can't control my reversals. Is that what you're asking me?
No, consciously able to insert those words reverse.
Oh, as an embedded command?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that in my inductions. Yes, I do. Yeah, as embedded commands. Yes.
Have you been paid?
Have I been paid?
To analyse, like, you can imagine a woman who thinks the husband's having an affair.
Yeah.
Or the husband.
Yeah, I've been hired for that. Yeah, I've been hired for that. Yeah, I'm amazed no one's followed me up on that. I mean, I have a few people do it. Yes.
Are you?
Sorry. Right. Yeah. The question was, have I been interviewed by police? I worked with the Dallas police for a couple of years on many cases. I had great success. In one case, we found the location of a body in a creek under a tree. The reversal said exactly where it was. I stopped working with the Dallas police after a very embarrassing incident. I was interviewing, I was analysing a speech with a suspect and the officer. And when I found my reversals, I go into the police station and play them all, the reversals, okay? And I found this reversal on the officer that said, last week I bought snow. And I played that in the, snow is cocaine, if you don't know. And I played that in public, and there was, to all the police officers, there was a deathly silence in the room, and they never asked me back again. That was the last time I was ever used. Huh?
Probably all buying it together.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So I worked on with the Australian police once. That was back in 1989 on the Seth Walters murder trial. You probably don't remember that. That's a long time ago. So, look, it's never been used in court, although there has been a court ruling that reverse speech does exist. There was in 1991, Judas Priest was sued for having backward messages in their albums. And I was asked to testify at the trial. And one of the rulings of the judge was he actually ruled against them, but he ruled that these backward messages did exist, but he threw the case out because no evidence had been put forward to show they were subliminally suggestive. So I don't know. So that's what happened. So there is a ruling on the books that reverse speech exists. So, how are we going? Yes.
These metaphors like metaphors in dreams.
The question is, I've been asked to repeat the question because some people on Zoom can't hear it. Yes, are these like metaphors in dreams? Yes, I believe they are. Yeah, I believe if, look, I don't do much dream analysis work, so I really can't speak from authority.
So in that example, we had the picture of the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
Dream may be something like the devil is in the detail.
Yeah. I believe that reverse speech and dreams are coming from the same source. They're connected. But I've done no work with dream analysis to speak of, unfortunately. Just one of the many areas of research that I don't have time to do, you know. I tell you one fascinating area of research that I've always, every class I teach, I've been wanting someone to take me up on this, and that's reverse speech in children. Children are speaking backwards from as early as 4 months of age. They start off speaking simple single words at first, like mummy, daddy, hungry, help. Around 7 months of age, 2 or 3 words appear in sentences. This is long before they're speaking forwards. And by the time they're about 13, 40 months of age, they're speaking quite fluently in reverse, just as forced speech is beginning. So the applications of getting in contact with a young child's mind before they can speak are just really exciting. There's just so many areas you can use this in. I mean, just it's limited only by imagination. This is a significant discovery as the X-ray was for the human body. This is a significant discovery as the X-ray for the human mind. It's who we are, why we function, why we do the things we do. More than that, it goes into creation, the manifestation, how we create our world, how synchronicities open before us. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. I see reverse speech mapping it out beforehand. We map out our lives 1, 2, 3 weeks before. I see it in, well, I played you a couple of examples there. On the highway, there's the chill here. I'm currently analysing the whole Israel situation. Very scary, very scary. It's talking about it's going to come to a climax in the next couple of months. I'm scared it's World War III. I've heard World War and reverse speech about half a dozen times now in the last couple of months. So I'm a little bit scared about it. I'm actually getting ready. I'm a prepper. So I've got my year's supply of food and my camper trailer and all my survival gear, so I'm all ready to go. Yeah, okay. Yes.
Another question. When you, because you have the clients, you know, pictures coming through, then you've got spirit coming through, then you've got universal consciousness. Do you end up hearing a difference in the message and the tonality, or like when you determine what it is?
Yeah.
Or is it that there is something a little bit different? You get really good at this.
Yeah, the question is, I understand, how do I tell the difference between the different levels? Is that what you're saying? Conscious,
Developed over time that you can now kind of pick up the difference.
Yeah, a lot of it's intuition. No, it's more than that. Look, I've developed a whole bunch of techniques analysing this. I call it categories and levels and types. I'm really into methodology. And you can tell by the forward dialogue and surrounding reversals what part of the mind it's coming from. It's not as easy as ABC. It requires a little bit of analysis. It's actually, look, it seems simple here, but it's actually a very complex phenomenon. It really is. It's very difficult to learn. It takes me, I'd say, a good 2 years to get someone to the level where they can hear them proficiently. Requires a lot of time and dedication, sitting down at your desk for hours on end with headphones on, running tapes backwards. It's one of the reasons it's kept people out of the field. You know, we're so used to going to weekend courses and getting our certifications, you know, but this isn't like that. This is hard work. Hey?
Like when I was in my 20s, like my brother that was doing it. So
Yeah.
he must have kind of got a little bit of traction then or something.
Yeah.
He was alternative.
He was on what?
He was alternative. Though.
Alternative.
But sitting there,
He probably got it from my work. Yeah, there's actually quite, look, my work is actually quite well known all around the world. It's just that no one seems to want to come and ask me to lecture. Thank you very much for asking me. I appreciate that. So, but ever since COVID, I've been sort of locked in my office, you know, writing books and seeing my clients. And I was quite excited when I got asked to come out and lecture. I thought, oh, good, I get to come out of my cave, you know. Okay, how are we going? All right. Well, look, okay. For those who want to come on Monday, I'm going to go into a whole lot more depth. All I've done here is just touch the surface. I'm going to give you some techniques to try it out for yourself, to get good at it yourself. I'll give you develop a series of checkpoints to check whether reverse is genuine or imagination. There are coincidental sounds. That throws the red herring. You've got to work. Anyway, I'll cover all of that on Monday. As far as session work, well, I'm always looking for clients. So if you want to know what's really going on inside, then come to my table. Hey? No, it's all the same website. Yeah. I got a training class starting in January. Last week in January. So we've got no students for that yet. So, hey? On Zoom. Yeah.
Got a deal?
Hey?
Got a deal?
Got a deal? Okay. You got a deal?
No, I didn't get a deal for it.
I've got a deal. Talk to me afterwards. Hey? Yeah. Yeah. Look, I guess I'll finish off by saying, look, this field needs people. It's as simple as that. I'm the only spokesman in the world for it. And with such an important technology as this, it has got to be out there more. It was very well known in America, but I'm not known in Australia at all, that's true. They are rather, yeah. But anyway, I've devoted 40 years of my life to this. I believe in it 100%. It took me probably 10 years to really be convinced it was real. You always ask yourself, gee, am I just imagining this? This is weird, but I think what convinced me was all the success I started having with clients and finding valid information in reverse. I mean, I remember I worked for Dallas Police and it said I can't think what the verse was now, but it was the bodies in a creek under a tree, and they found exactly where the verse was, and it was like, wow, that's just amazing stuff, incredible. Yes. I'll tell you, you're trying to hear the real story? The real story. Reverse Speech was born on October 30th, 1983. That was my birthday. I was going out for dinner for my birthday, and I was listening to music and a Walkman strapped to my belt. You remember those Walkmans? I was jigging around. The Walkman fell out of the belt straight into the toilet bowl. I took the thing out, pulled it apart, put it back together, and then only played backwards. And that's how I started listening to tapes backwards. That's the real story. Yeah, it did indeed. And then a few months later, I was running a halfway house for street kids in South Australia, and someone told me about satanic messages in rock and roll. And I thought, oh, I've got a Walkman that plays backwards. Let's go and have a look at that. So that's how it started. Yeah. Oh, many times. Right. Yeah, I've done coast to coast dozens of times. Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah. I was doing coast to coast. My first interview back in 95, 96.
That gives me chills. Listening to you.
Yeah, I've been around for a long time. I'm part of the furniture now. Anyway, look, I invite you to come to my lecture on Monday, my workshop. You'll find it absolutely fascinating. Come to my booth afterwards. I'm a prolific author. I've got 15 of my books there. I'm writing 3 books right now. I sort of switch between each book. I get bored with one and go and do another one. Okay, well, look, that's it. So thank you very much for coming. I do appreciate it. All right.